again, and this is going to be my last video, and that's going to be a book review of Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. I have a lot of book reviews coming out of me. Like, this will be the 4th one I've made in like 3 days, so I'm doing alright, but I'm probably not doing that great with them, but I'm trying. I hope I am getting better at my book reviews, I really do. So, on with this book, and before I get started into the review, again, this is going to be containing spoilers just because I can't talk about things without spoiling it. I do try and do book reviews without having spoilers in them just because it makes it easier for people to watch, but some books, there's nothing you can say without saying something that's important to the plot, so I need to do it. But anyway, guys, let's get started. What I like about this book, though, is on the cover it says perfect for fans of Game of Thrones. And I have watched the Game of Thrones TV show, and when I read this, I was just like, oh, this is legit a young adult version of Game of Thrones. And even though it is totally different from Game of Thrones, I really do enjoy, like, how it relates to it, and there's different things that I thought were really great in this that could, like, related to Game of Thrones, even though they're totally unrelated, but I still like the comparison of what it says on the front. So with this book, I'm just going to say what's on the back because it might make a bit more sense and be a bit quicker than me trying to do my whole explanation. So, in a land where magic has been forgotten and peace has reigned for centuries, unrest is simmering. Ooh. 3 kingdoms battle for power. A princess must journey into enemy territory in search of a magic long thought extinct. A rebel has become the leader of a bloody revolution, and a sorceress discovers the truth about the supernatural legacy she is destined to wield. And it's the eve of war, each must choose a side, kingdoms will fall. Now, what I really liked about this book too is you had to figure out which person was which in this thing, and there's 4 main key characters in this book, and they were all really great, and I just loved it. So with this kingdom, I'll just get the map. So with this kingdom, the whole area is called Mythica, and the 3 kingdoms are Limeros, Abbeyleec, and Oranos. I think that is probably wrong, but they're the 3 kingdoms. There's 3 kingdoms, but there's only actually 2 sets of royal family, and that's from the royal family of Limeros and Oranos, and they're the 2 royal kingdoms. The kingdom in the middle, Abbeyleec, has just kind of fallen, and they've become sort of the poor kingdom, so they're the ones with the most unrest and hate towards the other kingdoms. So that's a general basis of like where the kingdoms are and stuff. Hopefully you could see from the map. But let's get on with the characters. So I really loved Princess Cleo. So she's a princess, had to journey into Abbeyleec and find an antidote for a sister who was dying. Cleo, I thought, was a great character. She's really strong and she cares about her family a lot, and she's the youngest princess. So her eldest sister Amelia, she's been dying from a broken heart, but there's other just issues with her, and she's just slowly dying because her older sister was actually in love with a guard and he died, which is really sad for her. So she's kind of been dying of a broken heart, which is really sad for Cleo because she wants her sister to be alive, of course. So Cleo ends up journeying to Abbeyleec to find a cure for her sister, because she's heard stories about these people called Watchers, and they watch everything that's going on through the eyes of eagles, and they live in a sanctuary, and they're trying to find the 4 elementi, and they are the 4 elements. So you have water, fire, air, earth, and these rocks like give magic to them, and because they've disappeared they need to find them. And one of the Watchers left the sanctuary because she just didn't want to be there anymore, and she still has magic down in Abbeyleec, and Cleo wanted to find her so she could give her sister these magic beans. And it was really interesting seeing Cleo fight through this. Like, she got robbed, people kept attacking her, and she had to try and hide who she was, but she just didn't do a great job of it because she ended up getting kidnapped in the end, which was just like, oh, come on, girl. But it was really sad for Cleo with this whole war because she lost her mother. Now she's the queen of the kingdom that's been dying, and it's just like, yeah. One thing that ruined me with this book, though, is that Theon died. I was just so upset. I was just like, what? What? He was like, I thought it was gonna be like the end game. Like, Cleo fell in love with a guard, like her bodyguard, like her sister, which I thought was kind of sweet. What's funny though is like her sister fell in love with Theon's dad, and I was like, that is just kind of nasty. But besides that, I really enjoyed Theon and his relationship with Cleo, and it wasn't explored enough, and then he just was dead, and I was like, wow, like it just ruined me. So Cleo also lost Theon, so she's freaking lost everyone, and it was really sad for her, but she's still strong and she's gonna fight for her kingdom. Now, the next main character was Jonas, and he got muddled up into the rebellion, so he's the rebel leader, and the reason for that is Cleo was engaged to marry this guy called Aaron, and when they were going to Abbeyleec, because they went through for like to get some supplies, they went to this wine cellar, and Aaron was just like being an asshole. I didn't like him, and I hoped that he kind of died because he was so annoying. And it was really annoying too because he had like power over Claire because they had a night together where they did sleep together, and she was so regretful of that, and he's just been holding it against her. So he was being really bad to these people, and then Jonas came out to protect his father, and as well as Thomas, who was Jonas's older brother, and Aaron killed Thomas, and it was just like that just started everything. So everything was Aaron's fault. He killed this innocent boy who was older than him, so I shouldn't be saying boy, but he killed him in front of his whole family, then laughed it off, and then went off. So this led to Jonas wanting to kill them all, and this led to Lord Basilius getting involved with Limeros, because this led to these two kingdoms going against Ouranos. So this is how Ouranos was defeated, because they had two kingdoms fighting against one, which was pretty good. So I really did enjoy Jonas though, because he had such guilt and regret, but when he caught Cleo, he didn't want to kill her because he was like, oh, we can use her as bargaining chip. But he started to see her not as the person who was like a bystander in his brother's murder, but as like an actual person. And not that he fell in love with her, but he saw her bravery and like all that, and I really enjoyed it. But I really liked Jonas. He was a good character and he did a good job in the war. And the next two central characters are actually brother and sister, and that was Magnus and Lucia. And what I enjoyed about their relationship, that probably is not a good thing to enjoy, is Magnus was in love with his sister. And this is where I got my Game of Thrones vibes, as that the two of the main characters in Game of Thrones are twins, and they were having babies and sleeping together, and they're royalty, and it was just kind of nasty. But I just thought Magnus's love for his sister was actually so adorable, even though it's wrong. But in this book, I was actually felt so bad for him, because he knew it was bad. He's like, I know I can't do it, but seriously, I loved it. And with Lucia being the sorceress who's finding out her power, what's interesting is she actually isn't Magnus's real sister, but she could never see him that way. So I feel bad for Magnus. But Magnus is the prince and the next in line for the Limeros throne. So he was there fighting against with his brother, with Jonas and his father and all the people. And he's the one that actually killed Theon. So Cleo's not much of a fan of him at the moment. So yeah. But seriously, Magnus's love for his sister was so great, and what I loved about Lucia was that she was such a good sorceress, and she had such good magic. She was always like, wah, 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 with her power, and she's like, flames. It was just great. Use my hair, flames. But I thought it was really interesting to see that relationship between them, and she was a really good tipping point in the war. And what I thought was the biggest stab in the freaking back was once Limeros and Abbeyleec got Ouranos under their control, Limeros slipped around, stabbed Abbeyleec in the back, and took control of everything, because Limeros had trained guards and soldiers, and they knew what they were doing. The Abbeyleecians were just farmers. They couldn't fight back, and Jonas figured this out and tried to warn Lord Abbeyleec, and he was just like, nah, it's cool, bro. And then now it's just like everyone's against everyone, and Jonas is actually flipping sides because he's going to try and help Cleo now, but Cleo got captured. So it ended like with all these, like, there's so many interweaving stories in this, like it ended all like over the shop, and I was just like, ah. So I need the next books, but I'm really trying not to buy any books at the moment, so I will be getting them hopefully soon. I definitely will be getting them soon. I feel like what I'm going to do is have like a really big book haul with the financial year, because I'm getting my tax return, which will mean a lot of money for me. But yes, this book was amazing and I really loved it. I'm going to try and make my dad read it so he can be like, yes, that's happening. But anyway guys, I hope you liked my book review, and I'll see you guys soon.